12 News, protests in Robbinsdale over payday lending.
I call it the new form of financial slavery.
Local faith leaders challenge lawmakers to pass new laws. Plus, fitted to perfection in Plymouth. We'll take you to the place celebrating 80 years of fine fashion. But first, 1 month before its season begins, Maple Grove is now without a head hockey coach. 12 News starts right now.
Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining us. The Maple Grove boys hockey program had to deal with turmoil before, and now it's undergoing another leadership change.
The team's head coach was scheduled to appear in court today on charges of boating while intoxicated. Tom Starkey resigned from his coaching job Tuesday. He had been the coach of the boys' Crimson hockey team for the last 2 years. Starkey was arrested in early September in Crow Wing County. According to the complaint filed, Starkey was driving a boat, pulling a wakeboarder with several kids under the age of 16. He was stopped by a deputy on patrol, and a breath test found he was above the legal blood alcohol limit of 0.08. Starkey, a Maple Grove alum, took over the hockey program 2 years ago after an undisclosed off-ice incident led to the suspension of 13 players. After the incident, the contract of the program's longtime coach Gary Stefano was not renewed. In 2013, Starkey talked about moving past that incident.
One incident cannot be a black eye for the program, forever. That's not what Maple Grove hockey should be known for. They're much better than that, and I know, something like that happens, the media will take a hold of it, but I know deep down that's not what Maple Grove hockey is.
Parents of players were notified this week of Starkey's resignation. The school is working on hiring an interim coach within the next few weeks.
A Minnesota religious group took to the streets of Robbinsdale to speak out against payday lending practices.
Yeah, the concerns were focused specifically on U.S. Bank and Payday America. Delane Cleveland was at that protest and joins us now with more. Delane?
Mike and Alex, the Isaiah group gathered in Robbinsdale to protest what they call the predatory lending practices of the payday industry. They say that Payday America preys on people who need short-term loans by charging them high interest rates, in some cases higher than 100%, and tacking on rollover fees and other charges if the loan isn't paid in full. Meanwhile, they say U.S. Bank is at fault for financing Payday America.
We need U.S. Bank to stop financing Payday. We need U.S. Bank to create financial products for low-income Minnesotans.
Yes.
We need to regulate the payday industry at 30%, 36% interest and cap it at that.
Several dozen people from Isaiah gathered at the corner of 40th Avenue and Bottineau Boulevard to voice their concerns using U.S. Bank as a backdrop. The group then made its way to the bank to present management with a report about payday lending. Next, the group walked to the Payday America location down the street where they held a short prayer vigil and denounced payday lending.
I know nobody's forcing them to get the loans, but to be honest with you, I've gone in myself just to see what the process. And honestly, a lot of the details are not being told up front about the percentage of that have to be paid back and the cycle that you get yourself caught up in.
Ultimately, the group wants the state legislature to pass laws that better regulate the industry. Meantime, a spokesman from Payday America responded by calling the industry misunderstood. He says that Isaiah exaggerates the size of their interest rates, but their interest rates are higher because their loans are unsecured and they have little recourse if the borrower defaults. As for U.S. Bank, they said they had no comment. Mike?
All right, Delane, thanks. There is a new and easier way to get the medicine that advocates say can save lives in heroin or painkiller overdose cases. CVS pharmacies in Minnesota are making the drug naloxone available without a prescription. The company is allowed to sell the drug in Minnesota and 13 other states. Advocates applaud the CVS decision and say the antidote should be more widely available.
I wish the other pharmacies would do the same. I think it's a great step in the right direction. My preference would be as if the FDA would just take it off the need for a prescription, make it unnecessary to have a prescription to get it.
State Senator Chris Eaton lost a daughter to a drug overdose because naloxone was given too late. Many first responders now carry it in police squad cars and ambulances. And another barrier to getting the drug is the cost. Eaton says the cost of naloxone has quadrupled in the last few years since she has been working on the issue.
As the busy holiday shopping season nears, a hiring blitz is underway at 54 Target stores in the Twin Cities metro. Target is holding a two-day hiring event through Friday in an effort to hire 1,000 people for both regular and seasonal work, ranging from 4 hours a week to 40 hours. At the Rockford Road store in Plymouth, they are looking to fill between 50 and 70 positions. This is the first time Target has tried a hiring event like this one.
It's something that we're testing to see how great it does, but just looking for unique ways to bring in the best talent to make sure that we're getting, like I said, great people connected with great opportunities.
Store leaders are conducting on-site interviews during the job fair. Applicants can stop in or apply online in advance. Nationwide, Target plans to hire 70,000 positions for the holidays.
Its slogan is America runs on Dunkin. Soon it will be running to Plymouth. The Plymouth Planning Commission is slated to take up a proposal for a Dunkin' Donuts at its next meeting. Dunkin' Donuts franchise is proposed for Bass Lake Road and Nathan Lane. The Boston-based chain plans a rapid expansion into the Twin Cities with as many as 10 stores in the works. Dunkin' Donuts is the nation's largest donut and coffee chain.
This is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and Minnesota's Secretary of State says a confidentiality program run by his office can be a lifesaver for victims of domestic violence. Steve Simon told members of the North Hennepin Chamber of Commerce 2,000 people are enrolled in the Safe at Home program. It keeps their addresses secret. The Secretary of State's office even forwards mail to them.
We basically are the only people who know the true physical address of the people enrolled in the program. They live somewhere, they don't want people to know where they live, so for all purposes, public and private, whether it's a utility bill or a magazine subscription, we basically are their mailbox.
Simon says families who fear for their safety from a stalker or domestic abuser can meet with a counselor to discuss their safety concerns. There's a single word that describes many of our standout students.
And that word is busy. Today's standout student is no exception. Reporter Shannon Slatton introduces us to senior Kyle Harwood, who stands out in several areas at Armstrong High School.
That I neither know how she should be loved, nor how she should be worthy, is the opinion that fire cannot melt out of me. I will die in it at the stake.
Senior Kyle Harwood brings the sharp wit and fickle attitude of Benedict to life in the comedy Much Ado About Nothing.
He's wonderful. He takes direction very well. He's constantly asking me questions, wanting feedback on his performance. He's just been great to work with.
Even though it's only his second production, Kyle didn't shy away from the challenge of a Shakespearean script.
This is Shakespeare, and the kids actually got the script last May. They had all summer to work on the script, and so when we came back in August to start working, he and several of his peers were ready to roll.
I like how I can just be out here and express myself in a different way.
Theater might be a new challenge for Kyle, but he has experience in front of the crowds. He's one of 3 drum majors who lead the band during parades, field shows, and practices that will eventually lead to performing at the Outback Bowl in Florida on New Year's Day.
It's been very difficult juggling all of it.
Besides all of this, Kyle also takes advanced courses, holds a 3.5 GPA, and is a youth leader at church.
First time I've had this much stress on me, but it keeps me on my feet, it keeps me going, and it's something that I enjoy doing. I like being this busy.
He's busy, but his teachers say he makes busy look good.
He's a very talented young man, I mean, in many areas of the arts.
In Plymouth, Shannon Slatton, 12 News.
And you can see Kyle and the rest of the cast in Much Ado About Nothing Thursday night through Saturday night at Armstrong. Showtimes start at 7 p.m. Coming up, a celebration of longevity in Plymouth. We'll take you to that clothing store that now spans 3 generations.
And then a little bit later in sports, Maple Grove takes on Rogers in the opening round of girls tennis playoffs.
But first, a beautiful fall day. Friday is full of sunshine.
A family-owned and operated business in Plymouth is celebrating 80 years in retail.
Yeah, the Foursome not only sells clothing, but the business also gives back to the local community. Reporter Sonia Goins has more.
Well, this is a bench that my parents passed away. We had this bench, and we had it in front of the Foursome, the old store.
The family-like atmosphere can be felt even before customers step in the door.
That's what we're about. So,
Gordy Engel is the president of Foursome.
This is our fireplace, and it's a picture of our whole family together. 27 when they're all together.
The store was founded by 4 golf-playing school teachers.
Part of our heritage and part of the legacy.
Hence the name.
That was me when I was in high school. That's a few pounds heavier than that picture for sure.
The business started as a general clothing store in Wayzata.
We believe the original Foursome was on Lake Street in Wayzata.
Gordy's father, Ron, became sole owner of Foursome in 1965.
My dad was a great mentor for me. We spent about 30 years together in a small office doing the store together.
Foursome moved to Plymouth in 2009. Today, the high-end men's apparel store is run by 3 generations of Engel family members.
I'm the baby, yep.
Michael Engel handles money matters.
So I do a lot of our accounting and finance, but as in a small business, do whatever you're called to do.
Serve our customers and our community.
Nicole is the marketing manager.
We specialize in men's apparel, including big and tall, and we have a great selection of men's footwear as well.
They say they're not in the business to just sell clothes, but to build relationships with customers.
And there was a lot more of us 20, 30 years ago, and what's allowed us to continue to go forward is just taking care of customers.
Giving back to the community is also part of the business model.
I was part of starting the Wayzata Prayer Breakfast back in probably about 25 years ago now.
The combination of family and faith has made Foursome a successful business.
Each thing we do here is about serving God in what we do, and through that opportunity, he just takes us different places.
In Plymouth, Sonia Goins, 12 News.
Besides running a business, Gordy Engel also is a volunteer football coach at Wayzata High School. And 80 years is a long time to be in business for anything.
That's exactly right. I think a lot of people know that family.
Oh, absolutely. I'm sure they've seen a lot of competitors come and go, too.
That's right.
Well, coming up, a special birthday celebration. We'll hear from the Robbinsdale woman who just turned 100.
But first in sports, Cooper is set for a big football matchup with Spring Lake Park in the regular season finale. Jay Wilcox has that and more when we come back.
Cooper's football team is having one of its best seasons ever. The Hawks are 6-1, entering a big regular season finale against unbeaten Spring Lake Park. Friday night can't get here soon enough for the Hawks. All games are important, but for the Hawks, this one's clearly a big deal.
It's definitely a big game for us. It's all the way up there, so this is the game that we want to take home.
We installed a new defense to stop the veer option by Spring Lake Park, so we're definitely focusing on our new defense and offensively just to perfect things.
Cooper has a good mix of young talent with very experienced senior stars to lead them. Running back Levante Taylor and quarterback Philip Howard are game-breaking threats. The Hawks have scored 34 or more points in 5 of their 7 games and are happy to know that hard work has paid off.
When teachers and stuff see us in the school and everybody loves the football team, everybody talk about the football team, it's definitely a good feeling to know that we put a lot into this football team and people are noticing.
We had it a couple years back when we lost to De La Salle in the section championship, and that was a season that was a memorable season. And this year I think we've got the same caliber players, if not better, in terms of just their commitment in this offseason. So it's been something to enjoy because ultimately our kids are able to see hard work pays off.
Cooper battled Spring Lake Park often in the Old North Suburban Conference, and they know this will be a challenge.
For me personally, I've lost to Spring Lake Park a few times, had my season end them by a few times, so it's going to feel good to ruin their senior night and their homecoming, potentially.
Their kids practice their offense and their defense from 3rd grade moving on, so it's going to be a fun game getting to be able to put them back on our schedule. Last year we were hoping that we got opportunity to match up with them again, but the early loss in section took us out of that opportunity, and so, you know, we put ourselves up against them this week, and we're going to see what we can do.
It's a big game for section seeding too, but all Cooper is concentrating on is going 1-0 for the week. A win Friday would likely give Cooper a first-round bye in Section 5-5A, while a loss could mean having a quarterfinal game on Wednesday. Well, the regular season does wrap up this week for all local football teams, and here's a look at the games this week. There are 2 Thursday night games. Champlin Park is at Andover, and Breck hosts Minneapolis Henry. Then Friday, Cooper does visit Spring Lake Park. Armstrong is at Benilde. Park Center plays host to Irondale. Our TV game is Maple Grove hosting Shakopee. Watch it live on Channel 12 or 12.tv. 6-1 Wayzata will try to knock off 7-0 Eden Prairie. Hopkins is at Prior Lake. Osseo travels to Blaine. Totino Grace visits Coon Rapids. Brooklyn Center is home against Spectrum. Providence Academy hosts SMB, and West Lutheran is at Mabel Canton. The girls' tennis playoffs are underway. Many of our local teams compete in Section 5AA. Maple Grove hosting Rogers in first-round play there. Number 2 doubles, Hannah Schmeling floats a perfect lob shot for the Maple Grove point. Then Schmeling's forehand deep into the corner will set up a smash winner for Melissa Erickson, and they win the match in straight sets. At number 2 singles, Emily Benkowski in the far court for Maple Grove, Alana Spear for Rogers, and Spear gets the point on a backhand passing shot here. Benkowski comes to the net again here on set point, and she gets a volley winner to win the first set 6-3. She also wins the second set 6-3 for the Crimson. To number 1 doubles, Amanda Pennick serves for Rogers, and that sets up a volley winner for Sam Fitzpatrick. The teams exchange volleys before Allie Schmidt will get a smash winner for the Crimson, but Rogers ends up taking this match. Number 1 singles now, Kaylee Conlon serves for Rogers. Rachel Ellingson with the backhand return winner down the line. Conlon wins this match for Rogers, but Maple Grove pulls out a close 4-3 win. They're playing at Buffalo in the quarterfinals. So windy afternoon Thursday, but a lot of matches going on.
All right, thanks, Jay. We'll be right back.
And finally, if you live long enough to mark your 100th birthday, it is worthy of a little celebration.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, okay. Okay. 100-year-old Eleanor Eggy of Robbinsdale got a birthday greeting from her 94-year-old sister Shirley, and that was just the icing on the cake. Some live birthday music, balloons, and a cake were all part of the 100th birthday celebration held at Copperfield Hill. Eleanor says she feels good, has a strong faith, and has no complaints. Her best piece of advice is take one day at a time.
I have been healthy, and life has been very good to me, and everybody, you know, around me have been wonderful, and I have a wonderful family.
An avid Twins fan, Eleanor got a chance to throw out the first pitch at a Twins game back in August to mark her upcoming 100th birthday, and Eleanor has a special connection with the Twins. Her late husband caught a foul ball on the very first pitch at the old Met Stadium back in 1961. So Eleanor donated that baseball to the Twins archives. Pretty cool.
Very cool.
Wow. That does it for us. Thanks so much for joining us.
Stay with us. Community Corner's up next.